Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Gladys on Love. Today's video, let's talk about expressing consent and creating a safety container when we're making love with our lovers, partners, husband, wife, girlfriend. I think it's very important as I'm reading this book by Jaya, the 5 Erotic Blueprint. I learn what consent meant in a much deeper level. Consentment is for you to be able to express if your whole body yes for the experience, or it's a hell no for me, or if it's a maybe. And there's definitely there were moments or experiences that I had in the past where I didn't express consent. And I regret that afterwards because I didn't know if it's safe and I was never asked as well. Like most of us, our default is when we have that intimate moments with our partner, there's no conversation. We just go right away. And it's even more common when you just met someone new and it's so awkward to talk about it. You're just trying to feel the vibe and then you do it. And then you'll be surprised that, oh, I thought we had a great chemistry, but why this person didn't chat me back anymore? Why this person ghosted me? And I think most of the time it's because there's a lack of consent and also there was no safety container. So in this video, I would love to talk about what is consent and how to actually express consent, and also how to create that safety container within your relationship or your encounters with your lovers, just to make sure that you will be able to have that amazing, juicy, and passionate love making. So first, again, safety consent, as I've mentioned earlier, it's about saying yes to something that you're aligned with. So that means if you try to imagine an invitation or an experience that you really want to do it, try to take at least a minute or 5 seconds to recall and remember that experience and notice how your body feels when it's a whole body yes for you. That's a whole body yes meant. Now, let's try to remember an invitation, an experience where you're not aligned with it. Like, you definitely don't want it. If someone tells you like, oh, let's do bungee jumping, and you're like, oh, hell no. How does it feel? And just try to remember and feel it. That's a hell no feels like. Now recall a moment as well where you're unsure whether or not you will say yes or no. Try to remember that moment and notice how you're being indecisive about it. So that's a maybe. And if it's a maybe, allow yourself to lengthen the pause. If it's no, but maybe, I highly suggest you lean more towards no. Because sometimes if you end up saying yes, it might be a consent regret afterwards. Because most likely, if we feel no about something, that means really like non-negotiable, and you would know that. But if it's like a maybe yes, then that means that perhaps you just need more information. You just need to feel more secure and safe about it. So explore that. What do you need in that moment to actually feel comfortable in going for it? Like, again, let's use an experience of like, oh yes, I want to travel, but I'm not sure if I will say yes to that because I'm not sure if I'm free at that day or if I actually have enough resources to do it, stuff like that. So sometimes we don't say yes right away because of some other circumstances. So just lengthen the pause and try to be curious and understand why. So those are ways of understanding yourself and being able to know if it's good for you, if it's not good for you, or if you just need more information so that you can make a decision. And I think it's very important to have that awareness before you agree on something, especially if you are going to have an intimate moment with your partner. Now, when we talk about safety container, this is a place where we create the space. And you can start by having this conversation if you want to set up the mood of making sure that it's a safe place. It's a safe time for both of you to really connect. You can start by asking question, what would you need? What is it that I need to know in order for me to make sure that it will be a pleasurable experience for you? And the person might say, I want us to just go slow. Or I actually just want us to cuddle without any expectation to turn it into sex. Or I actually just want cuddle but no penetration. So, try to be aware of those boundaries that you want to put. And for someone who wants to hold that container, be in a place of understanding, acceptance, and honoring the person's request. Because when you do that, that creates the safety, that builds the trust between the two of you. And sometimes a yes can be a no afterwards as well. Like, oh, okay, that sounds exciting. Yes, let's try it. And then in the middle of your experience, you realize like, oh, it's actually too painful for me, or oh, it's uncomfortable. I don't think I want to continue. And for the person who's again holding the container, be in a place of understanding and honoring that you don't want to push them on the edge just because they say yes. We can always just adjust and try to understand. Be, instead of feeling offended, angry, or annoyed, shift that emotion into understanding and curiosity. Oh, what changed? What made it feel comfortable? Tell me about it. Let's understand it together. And maybe the physical intimacy may not reach the way you imagine it to be, but at least you can build that emotional intimacy together. And as you do it like that, you will be able to really establish a much safety container. And when you're able to do that, that's actually a gateway for both of you to potentially able to surrender yourself in the full experience, have that freedom to bring each other to the edge of pleasure and orgasm. And isn't that beautiful? But again, the most common thing for us is to not talk about this, to not have this conversation with our partners. We are operating from a place of assumption, which is assume that we're together and we're supposed to have sex and you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to want me and like me and we're supposed to explore it together. It's always just assumption, 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 and feeling bad if that assumption is wrong, feeling offended if your assumption wasn't met. So instead of assuming, how about take a different approach? If you haven't used this approach of having consent first and also creating that safe container, why not try it and see how it goes? Because I feel like it would be so much better. I experienced it firsthand for myself, and I wouldn't say it's all perfect right away. It still has its challenge because, we are not wired to this. We weren't taught of having a communication about our sexual desires, our pleasure. And funny thing is, we often don't even express our desires to our partner, or we don't even dare to ask what their desire because we feel afraid that we may not be able to give it. We are afraid that we may not be able to fulfill it. But actually, I think it's a good idea for all couple to start expressing our desire, and for someone to be able to accept and hear those desires and just hold space for it to be okay. You are not obligated to fulfill it or to make it happen. And just by allowing the person to express their desire without judgment, that alone creates that safety, that alone builds a trust, that alone creates this emotional intimacy that will lead into physical intimacy, passion, and orgasm. Because you will be able to support each other. And I really wish for everyone to be in that place of holding that space for each other to express our true authentic self in a way of being able to express what we want, what we fear, and what is it that we love about. And I'm so excited reading this book by Chaya, The Five Erotic Blueprint. And I'm in the second chapter of the book where she talks about consent and creating that safe container, and I'm learning so much, and I just can't wait to create a content about it right now. And as I go deeper into that book, I'm so excited to share more information, share my own takeaway of my understanding as I read through it. And actually, earlier today, I created a live stream while I'm having my coffee and reading the book. I did it first time with my phone, so I'm not sure if it was safe or not. But shout out to those who joined me to that live stream. And I'm also very excited because I've been running these two programs, The Irresistible You and The Intimate Lovers. Irresistible You is designed for single individuals who wants to establish a foundation of a relationship that is built to last. And for the Intimate Lovers program, it's a 6-week program where it's ideal for singles or couples who really want to be able to create a wild and passionate intimacy in their relationship. And I realize not everyone are ready to jump into a 5 week or 6 weeks commitment to work with me. So I decided, why not create a workshop? So I am currently cooking a 2-hour workshop. It's called Relationship and Intimacy Mastery Workshop, where I combine the nuggets from the 5-week Irresistible You program and the Intimate Lovers program, so you can get a taste of what it will be like to actually lay out that foundation, and to also feel that safety, security, and confidence that you can still continue to ignite that loving passion with your partner. And I'm so excited as I'm going through and making this workshop, so excited for what I could share. And also, I prepared a lot of resources, materials that you can take with you at the end of the workshop so you can learn through the workshop and beyond. And thank you again for watching this video. I hope that you were able to learn something. And as I've said many times, the best way to learn is to teach. And doing this, I'm really learning so much as well. And thank you for giving me the space and also for supporting me. And feel free to show your support and love by subscribing to my channel. And please drop your comment in the comment section below if you have any question or topic that you would want me to talk about. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts about that. and see you in my next video. Have an orgasmic day, everyone. Mwah.